Hello, how are you guys doing? It is Overreaction Lunes with the Compas. I'm Fernando Ramirez. I cover the Chargers for the Sporting Tribune. With me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Gilbert Manzano, covers the NFL for Sports Illustrated. What's up, bro?
What's up, Fernando? You know what's up? The LA teams, they both won. I think it might be the first time this NFL season the Rams and the Chargers won in the same weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've come a long way since we hosted a live telling people, hey, take a breather on Brandon Staley. But it was chaotic. They won a game. And a lot of blowouts this weekend, I felt like, Fernando. But those Chargers, they never like to go into blowouts. They like to make it interesting, as always.
You know what's funny about that is that Brandon Staley was actually asked about that right now. We just had our press conference with him, and he was asked about it, and he says all these games in the NFL are close. This isn't college football where Georgia's playing UAB or Austin Pay or something like that. I don't know why it's such a surprise that all these games are close. That's just the way the NFL is. And to an extent, I think he has a point. I mean, it really is close, and we all know how the NFL is. So I'm not surprised by it, but okay, so obviously the whole fourth down thing, it was a discussion again yesterday. Eric Williams and I were getting into it. He's like, "You millennial, you want him to go for it, don't you?" I'm like, "I'm all for it. I don't care." Like, I just think the play calling has been kind of sus, as the kids say today. But
Mid.
okay. So he was conservative. They're 0-2. They are aggressive. They're 2-0. So I don't know if that's correlation, but right now, we asked him right now, or he was asked right now, Brandon Staley, about the tush push, and he said it was he was asked, was it not executed properly, or did the Raiders just do a good job of stopping it? And he said a little bit of both. So yeah, I didn't see much push in the tush when it came. So when that play happened, so I don't know if it was because Herbert was like, they knew he was hurt and they're kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that to him, or if it was just because they were like kind of like standing there not knowing what to do. But if they would have pushed the tush, I'm sure they would have gotten a first down.
Does that mean we're going to get into it already? Because I do have some thoughts on that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, first down. Chargers get by the Raiders. Sorry. Yeah, going on. That's a good debate. That you had you and Eric about should you go for it, should you not, and then we also talked about it with Adam Hill, and funny story. Adam Hill was defending Brandon Staley last week, and he was like, "You got to be a moron to not see what he was thinking." I'm like, I didn't see it, and the reason why I'm not
That's
a
why I
moron.
hang out with Adam.
The reason why is like, yes, the numbers say you go for it. You get the first down, you win the game, you close it out. But you also gotta, I think I'm better than the AI computer. You gotta account for how bad your defense has been. You gotta account for the record. You gotta account for everything that's going on outside of the numbers. And time and time again, the Chargers defense has not came through, but they kind of have the last 2 weeks. It just, the first week, the Vikings week, I'm like, okay, no, do not leave your defense on a short field. You're putting too much pressure. They got to pick Kenneth Murray. This week, it was Asante Samuel Jr. that bailed them out. But you're right. It is the play calling. The play calling has been pretty bad. I don't get it. You pay Justin Herbert $50 million, but you're doing like a sneak or a run to Joshua Kelly. Can we get a little more creative here? And I guess if it happens again a third time, people are probably going to be like, okay, now you're going to get creative. Let's back off. So it's a guessing game overall. But, there's some disconnect here with Kellen Moore's play calling and then a little too much confidence in Brandon Staley's defense. But to their credit, Fernando, Khalil Mack, 6 sacks. They're getting pressure. They're getting takeaways. And that, like I said last week, it goes a long way.
Keenan Allen put the crown after the game on him. So, hey, by the way, what did I tell you before the game or during halftime? He probably thinks that he sees number 4 and he gets PTSD and thinks it's Derek Carr. He actually mentioned it to Melanie Collins after the
Oh,
game.
yeah?
He said something. He's like, he looks kind of like Derek back there. So I think that's why.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know.
I don't know what it is, but out of his 14 sacks as a Charger, 9 of them have come against the Raiders. So
Oh. You know what's wild, Fernando? I had no idea that Khalil Mack had 0 sacks going into the game.
yeah.
He went into the game with 0 sacks. He left the game the league leader in sacks in the NFL. That is wild. 6 sacks in a day.
Dude,
and
he's 4 away from
for
the season.
from matching what he did last year.
No, no, he's 2 away from matching what he
Oh,
did
late,
last
right?
year, and he's 4 away from getting to 10 sacks, which usually for
Yeah,
pass rushers, everybody's like 10 and above is great.
dude. Like
So,
at one point, I wanted him to break the
so did
record.
I. I
And
was waiting for it.
like when the game got close, I'm like, okay, now they're gonna really rush the passer here, maybe get 7. And shout out to Tyler Dragon. I've been sitting next to him at SoFi Stadium. We were really into that game. I'm like, you're not gonna challenge that. You're gonna go for the 4th down, 6 sacks. Like we're like, what is going on in this game? And we looked it up. Okay, Derek Thomas has a record for sacks in a
Yep.
game, 7. He didn't get that, but shout out to the Chargers PR for another note that Derek Thomas and Khalil Mack are the only 2 players in NFL history with 2 games of 5 sacks or more. I'm like, whoa, I guess I did see some history.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, Khalil, that's the thing about it. Everybody keeps on talking about, oh, maybe Khalil's washed. Maybe Khalil just doesn't have it anymore. If you guys go back and watch the 3 games, he does get there. It's just that either the quarterback gets rid of it or somebody beats him to it. But like, it's no accident that Khalil had 6 sacks yesterday. I know the guy's a rookie and he was maybe holding on to the ball too long, but that's just Khalil making good plays. And I still think Khalil has some left in he still has some gas left in that tank, and he's gonna show it. But wow, like
No,
6 sacks is just
without Joey
incredible.
Bosa and
Yeah,
Derwin James, he stepped up.
exactly. And then Thule was that's the thing. Thule does some stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. You know
Yeah,
how
good
NBA
point.
coaches like saying that about certain guys? Well, that's I think what Thule's been for these guys. I think he's opening up because there was one sack where they're both on the same side, and Thule engages with the guard and the left tackle and the right tackle, and then Khalil went around both of them and he comes straight up. Like I think Aiden's eyes kind of opened up and he's like, crap. And Khalil came up and tackled him. So hey, don't forget the suplex or the spine buster from Asante Samuel Jr. Also, that was an interesting thing. And then obviously the hit out of bounds. But let's get into that one. The hit out of bounds
Well,
from
before you do, I
yeah.
see people are watching. Don't be shy. Get in the comments or give us a takeaway, your opinion, because I'm sure if you're a Chargers fan, you have an opinion about this next topic. Go ahead, Fernando.
Yeah. So obviously Jerry Tillery launches and you know what's crazy? We should have been talking about Herbert putting Max
Yeah.
Crosby on skates in a sense, but Jerry Tillery hits Herbert out of bounds. The first indication that my first thought was I'm gonna look at his teammates. Oh wow. Hi from Chile.
Oh,
Hey, how are
really? Yeah.
you?
Shout out
Yeah, yeah.
Chile.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Just because of that, we should have a show in Chile now. That'd be
There you
cool.
go. Yeah, that would be awesome. So obviously he gets hit out of bounds. And then and I looked at Max Crosby. Max Crosby just goes like he was you could tell he was not happy at that. And Max Crosby's a leader on this team. He knows exactly that was a bonehead play. Gilbert, I've been around the NFL now for about I mean, I don't know, 2014 probably since then. So to see I've never seen a whole team run up and defend one player the way I did. And I saw some jabs, I saw some cheap shots being thrown in that pile. But I was like, I was really impressed. I was like, wow, okay, everybody. And then after the game, you hear and everybody's like, that's our guy, that's our leader. Like Jerry knows exactly what he did, and you're like, whoa, like okay, like these guys are really I mean, this is Justin Herbert's team, and I know everybody wants to talk about the money. It's not the money. Money doesn't earn you respect. It's your game and what you've done. And Justin Herbert has earned the respect of every single player in that on that team and every single coach, general manager, everything. He's earned the respect of everybody in that building. And that was just impressive to see the way everybody really launched themselves out to go. Everybody ran out there to help Justin Herbert. Anybody in a powder blue jersey ran at Jerry Tiller. It was incredible to see.
Yeah, you got to keep it real. It was a dirty hit, a very late hit there,
Yeah.
and yeah, I get it. The quarterback is running with the ball, and sometimes that happens, but he was clearly out of bounds, and people say, hey, you can't stop when you're going that fast. It was that late that you could have. So, but the thing here is like it's a little strange, because from all the time that I spent with Justin Herbert and Jerry Tiller, you could tell they were friends. There was a friendship there, But you also know Tillery's background, where like he had a couple late hits in training camp, and you don't touch the quarterback. And then you see what Kyle Van Noy said on Twitter about Jared Tillery. I think Tillery and Herbert are friends, but when you put aside the friendship, Tillery does have a style. You could label as dirty. So good to see the teammates defend them, and go ahead and show this tweet from Kyle Van Noy.
So Kyle Van Noy tweets out, Khalil Mack, I guess he likes playing the Raiders after they traded him. Matthew Johnson asked him, do you see Jerry Tillery cheap shot? Kyle Van Noy says, yeah. If you only knew the behind the scenes with Jerry, I'm shocked hands weren't thrown.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, I mean, we all know that something happened, and that's why Jerry was cut last year. So I mean,
Well,
I guess
that's
Kyle Van
more
Noy,
than just being a little dirty. That's performance too.
no. I completely, yeah. No, I completely understand. What I'm saying is though that there's more to this
Yeah.
than obviously what's been let out. Because remember, all of a sudden Jerry was he was gone. Like they just cut him, and that was it. So that something crazy must have happened, and obviously Kyle Van Noy knows it. But
Yeah.
and Kyle Van Noy is a well-respected player around the NFL. He's won rings with the Patriots and everything. So that's huge if he's saying something like that. So yeah, no, and the players in the Chargers, I know you went to the Raiders locker room. In the Chargers
Yeah.
locker room, players weren't like I asked Gerald Everett, I asked Trey Pipkins, I asked a lot of people, and everybody, they were just not happy about him. And obviously when Jerry was brought in last year for the Raiders, they improved. I mean, and I'm not gonna lie, like the Chandler Jones really kind of took off in a sense once Jerry Tillery kind of came in, but I mean now it's like he hasn't kept up that same play as last year. So because I remember when he played against the Chargers, he had 1 or 2 sacks of Herbert, and there was a little weirdness even there in that game. So yeah, I don't know, but just not a good look for him, and you're kind of already teetering of still being in the NFL and not being in the NFL, and yeah, and honestly, Tillery is just a strange cat all around. Like
Yeah.
I've only had like 1 or 2 interactions with him, and it was just strange interactions. I'm not gonna go any further than that, but just
Yeah.
really strange. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Speaking of strange, I just want to kind of go back to the final minutes of this game, and I'm not trying to be a party pooper. The Chargers are 2-2, but they should have beaten that team by maybe a couple scores, not sweat out a 1-score game at the end. Like
Completely agree.
it was 24-7, and like there was like this
At halftime.
slow comeback because the Raiders had 3 points in the third quarter. They had 7 in the fourth. Like it didn't feel like a comeback, but suddenly you're looking at the scoreboard like, oh, it's a 1-score game, and the Raiders are getting the ball back. So it was strange. And then you kind of go back, like McDaniels and Bradley are always like in the headlines for having questionable calls. When they got down there in the goal line setting, Josh Jacobs, they didn't give him the ball, and they put the ball in Aiden O'Connell's hands, and that did not work out, and it helped out Brandon Staley on the defensive side because Sunday Samuel Jr. got the interception.
Super Bowl 49 part 2.
Yeah. So nobody worries about the fourth down, and I don't know, Fernando, because the replays that I was seeing on Devontae Adams' fourth down conversion at SoFi, I didn't get the full angles. Apparently, I guess the elbow went down, but
The elbow went down.
so I guess that's
yeah, your buddy a couple of seats down kept on why isn't he challenging? Why isn't he challenging? Yeah. The elbow was down, dude. Like, damn.
I was fooled by a SoFi Stadium cameras, which I guess maybe wanted Brandon Staley to challenge it. But credit to the people upstairs that say, hey, just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, don't waste your time.
It was a catch.
So I got that one wrong there, but just to be in that situation where you're having a rookie guy debut who just got sacked 6 times by one player, let him build his confidence, throw to his best player, and then be in a situation where like they could have tied the game, and it didn't work out. McDaniels taking heat for not giving the ball to Josh Jacobs, the interception, things like that. But why couldn't it be a clean game and just crush this team where they have no firepower? And credit to the Raiders defense. They held it down in the second half, and they usually don't do things like that. So maybe there is something promising on the Raiders side, but it was still an ugly game overall for the Raiders. and a little disappointing for the Chargers not to finish it.
No, there's nothing promising about the Raiders. The Chargers were just that
They
bad.
have Max Crosby. That's about
No,
it.
no, no, no,
With
but no, I
Devontae.
understand that. But I'm saying like there's something wrong with this team in the sense
Yeah.
of why are second half adjustments not like I haven't seen any second half adjustments. Why is it that the offense came out flat in the second half? I understand you don't have Mike. I get it, but that's something that you're gonna have to face now the rest of the season. You're not getting there's no he's not gonna come back unless Mr. Miyagi goes in there and does a little bit of his magic,
Hey,
but
Palmer stepped up though on that last reception there to close
yeah,
the
on the
game.
50. Yeah, but then he had a couple of drops.
You're right. You're right.
Quentin Johnston had that nice catch, but then after that, he only played in 51% of the snaps. Darius Davis had the most impact of a secondary player. I think Darius Davis had the well, no, actually, no. Josh Palmer still had the second biggest impact, but Darius Davis has performed. I mean, he's had some moments too, but it's like I don't know, and obviously the Raiders had a good game plan against Keenan. They basically doubled him most of the game.
Yeah, they did.
So they and none of the tight ends. Gerald Everett had 2 catches for like 9 yards. Any news about Parham? Yes. The news is that there is no news. It is a wrist injury, and we'll know more next week when the injury report comes out, which is next Thursday. So
what about the finger, the Herbert finger?
Oh, the what?
The Herbert finger. Is he okay?
Oh, yeah, no, that one they don't expect him to miss any time. They basically what did they call it? They said it is fractured. The finger is fractured. He's not expected to miss any time. So and obviously it helps that they have a bye week. So that is definitely good. Somebody
Can I
has
get
a
through?
question for you,
Go ahead,
Gilbert.
Fernando.
No, no, no. No. Okay, the flesh wound. The flesh wound. I don't know if you guys know this, but it's from Monty Python. It's a movie. It's like a movie thing. Justin, that's what Justin called it because it's a part of a movie. Like the guy gets his arms chopped off. This like dark night. This like night. He gets his arms chopped off, and he's like, "You can't fight." He's like, "It is just a flesh wound," and like. And if you can hear at the beginning, Justin's kind of saying it in a British accent. So
Oh,
he's like,
did he?
yeah, he's like, "'Tis just a scratch,
Look at
just a flesh
that.
wound." So
Showing the personality there.
that's what I'm telling people. Like, you guys don't understand. Like Joey Bosa, Justin Herbert, like there's funny guys. Like they just have different kind of humor than what I think everybody's used to. But he is like, well, yeah, the Chargers social media got it later, but it was just so funny when I started chuckling, and I think Justin kind of turned and looked at me, and I was like, okay, yeah, like he understood that I knew what he was doing.
Anybody get it?
I thought it was, yeah, he's like, obviously it went off the old heads and everything, but I was able to get it. So I thought that was pretty funny.
That's not a
But
new movie though, so I'm surprised nobody else got it.
yeah, I know that. I thought that was interesting. But yeah, you had put this one. Hey guys,
Yeah.
is it me or the play calling reverted to a way more conservative approach than we are used to so far? Do you want to take it away?
Yeah, and it's not like a crazy analysis here, but when you were talking about, Mike Williams, I started remembering, well, the Chargers didn't have Derwin James, they didn't have Joey Bosa, no Austin Eckler, and obviously the first game without Mike Williams like fully. And it's gonna be an adjustment. So it kind of, maybe I am being a little harsh and we because you always see this team kind of struggle in one score games that you should close them out. But if maybe it was one of those games like, okay, it's a feel out game, just get the freaking victory, go 2-2, and go into the bye week. So that could be part of it. But yes, when you have Justin Herbert, you want to be more explosive and push the ball down the field. So it was conservative in the second half. When you build a 24-7 lead and you're seeing all the injuries piling up to start players, you're probably thinking, let's get out of here into the bye week with a victory. And they kind of got a little too safe there. So that could be the issue there. But when you think about it, that's a lot of injuries to key players. We'll see how they do after the bye week, and that's why I'm glad you had the report here. But I'm sure they won't give you much before a bye week.
They should trade for Kyle Pitts. Save Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I actually said that the Falcons should not trade Kyle Pitts because that guy's a talented dude. They're not using him right. But if he's available, you're right. Go and get him.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't. But it would just be interesting to see what a tight end like that would do.
Imagine.
how many times do you ask your defense to get stops? Yeah, this is something I don't know if you guys have heard. Oh my God, somebody said yes, send Pitts.
That'd be
This
nice.
one.
All right.
So okay, this is something that I've heard in the past that I've heard some Cowboy fans complain about. There was a guy on the Dan Patrick show. His name is Shane Irving. He used to complain that Kellen Moore in like towards the end of the game, like some of the play calling was just kind of weird and he didn't understand why he was going like that. He was more obviously he would use stronger words than I have chosen, but I mean I don't know what it is either. It just seems like towards the end of games, the game plan they kind of go away from it. I mean, last week you guys saw like they were doing some good things against Minnesota, and suddenly they kind of hit the wall at the end. And you're kind of like, whoa, like where's all the creativity? In Tennessee, the same thing. They were very creative in the first three quarters, and towards the end of the game, it's like, well, where's the creativity here? And like on the final two drives, no creativity. Same thing against the Dolphins, no creativity towards the end of the game. So I don't know if it's maybe a pattern that we're seeing or it's just the same thing, but they need to get more creative and they need to pull some of these plays out. Like the Keenan Allen throw, that was really creative. That was great that they used it, but you need to do more creative stuff like that, and not gadget plays, but just be more creative with the way you scheme to get guys open in a sense.
How about that last third down conversion? That was aggressive from way back in near their own end zone on the third down conversion,
Oh yeah,
and
no. I
they
completely
launched it to Joshua Palmer. So I get it, but people are frustrated. You should do more than that. But for that instance, that was a nice example. But yeah, you got to do more. And it's still kind of like I'm not trying to make excuses, but it's still what 4 games to the Kellen Moore
yeah.
era. They're trying to figure it out. The
And
first
you
2
just
games,
lost your second best receiver.
yeah, you're losing a lot. And then the first couple of games, the defense couldn't get it going. So you want to make sure the defense is rested, so you're a little more balanced. So we'll see. But the best thing I think people should focus on. And by the way, this is a good point here by Ricky about
Yeah.
the Raiders don't have much going, but they have a good special teams, a good punter, a good
Oh,
kicker.
both of them. Both of them.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that being pinned back and being a field position game, that does affect it when you're trying to rally as well. But it is 4 games. We'll see how they do. But when you have Justin Herbert playing the way he has the last 2 weeks, I think everybody should feel good about that at least.
Yeah, no, 100%. Man, Justin Herbert masked a lot of the stuff that obviously kind of this team has. Oh, that was another thing. No, my bad. So Asante Samuel, no, Darius Davis was the one that got spine busted. There was a tackle by Diablo on special teams. He kind of grabbed him and he spine busted him. What did I say? I can't remember what I said Asante Samuel Jr. did, but it was just it was definitely interesting. But yeah, I don't know. They need to get more creative right here. I agree. The offensive play calling is lacking creativity. Wish they would have done more with Darius Davis. I completely agree with that. Yeah, Darius Davis should have been implemented a little bit more, especially because, like we said, there is no Mike. So you're gonna have to get creative with all these players. The only thing is, like, I wonder, and I spoke to Quentin Johnson last week, and he said, "Look, I feel good. I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to step up and help this team." The only thing is, like, are you using him in creative ways? Or I know he had that one drop, that back shoulder one that he definitely should have caught, but I mean, I really don't know what it is. I mean, it literally felt yesterday like, yeah, Josh Palmer had the 3 catches, but it kind of felt like there was nothing really there, and that's why Justin kind of had to take off running a lot more. So yeah, I don't know. Moving forward, I mean, and division games are tough, but I agree with you. You're up 24-7. You should have came out in the second half and put this game away. Said you let a rookie quarterback drive up and down the field in the second half
Debut.
and and put a little bit of and kind of, I don't know, and kind of strike some fear in you, but you got kind of nervous and you're like, oh crap, like I don't know. So but definitely, well, let's take a couple more. Asante Slam, like Derwin Slam. Well, I don't know, because that Derwin on Kelsey one, that's like
That was pretty good.
That's a big man freaking grabbing another big man and like
Imagine if
destroying the
Derwin
guy.
did that now with Travis Kelce with Taylor Swift. Oh man, the Swifties
Oh,
will riot. They'll be
that'd be
mad.
so funny. That would be interesting to see. Let's see.
I had to get one Taylor Swift reference on this show
Oh,
here.
and I'm sure you're gonna get some more. One more question: will the Cowboys lose by 15 in San Fran? Don't tell that to Gilbert. Gilbert doesn't want to hear none of that. We'll get into that in a little bit,
Yeah.
though. But I think getting Jalen might help. It could, but it just also, you guys have to remember, Jalen is, I think at this point, it's already been a year, a complete calendar year since Jalen's played. So it's gonna. You guys have seen kind of what it's taken Josh Jacobs to get back, having no training camp and kind of getting back into it. So I'm sure that's the thing. When you have an injury, you kind of have to work out different muscles and or when you have surgery like that, you have to work out different things that you've never worked out before. And I'm sure Jalen's going to be in incredible shape, but to get into football shape is going to take a little bit. But I'm sure him stretching the field, and if he still has that speed, it'll definitely help. But it's going to take some time to integrate him. But you're going to need other guys to step up. That Monday night game against the Cowboys, even without Trayvon Diggs, it is going to be a tough game. Like you
That
see
the
the
next game
Cowboys. Yeah, that's your next game.
after
Monday
bye week.
Night Football
That's
against
gonna be tough. Yeah.
after the bye week. They have an extra day though because it's Monday night, so they have some time to get rested up. We'll see. The injury list last week was humongous. Like it was pretty crazy. So
It's
we'll see what
kind of
happens.
like the Packers in the NFC. The Packers have a lot of injuries.
Yeah, they do. And the Chargers and the Packers play each other in about a month. So it'll definitely, yeah, that's why I said without Diggs, it's gonna be they're still gonna be a tough team to beat, especially with all the way they've been playing. I mean, they picked off I know Mac Jones and Justin Herbert are nowhere near in the same conversation, but they picked off Mac Jones a couple of times yesterday, pissed off Bill Belichick. So that was definitely interesting. But all right, Gilbert,
Ready?
time to move on. What are we getting next? Let's go to second down. The Jets nearly beat the Chiefs. Yeah, no, this game, man, it was really close. I don't think anybody expected um Zach Wilson, aka the Manhattan MILF Hunter, to come out and just completely outplay. Like in a sense, I saw a meme today that said Taylor Swift is gonna think that Zach Wilson is better than
I know,
Patrick
right?
Mahomes. Zach Wilson, 28 of 39, 245, 2 touchdowns. He hit Lazard and he hit Ozuma, the tight end. But I mean, the well, you know what? I'm gonna let you start because I do have something very important to say about the Chiefs. But
Yeah,
I want you.
I
I'm
figured.
gonna. No.
Well,
It's
okay.
yeah. I'm gonna
Yeah,
let you start
I'm
with
gonna
that.
say my
Go
dumb
ahead.
joke, and then I'll get to the point I think you're trying to make. Is I could imagine Taylor Swift, who's probably new to football as well, staring at Brittany Mahomes in the suite and say, "Hey, what the hell? What's going on with your quarterback? Give it to my guy. He's throwing bad receptions there." And then by then I'll be like a different universe we're in.
That'd be
Zach,
so
Zach
funny.
Wilson doing better, and Mahomes having some ugly interceptions, and that's where I'll segue, Fernando. Yes, that holding on Sauce Gardner was crap. It was late. It didn't even affect the wide receiver to finish his route. And by the time Michael Carter II got that interception, that's when the referee threw the flag. So that's a little weird and strange. I'm not those people that goes into conspiracy theories and say, "Hey, they're rigging the game." But that one, keep the freaking flag to yourself. It's too late. We've moved on. It's like in the NBA, man. Like, okay, we didn't see it. Go ahead, let it happen. But yeah, what was that comment, by the way? I wanted to read it.
Oh my bad. It said the Jets were getting screwed by the refs and
Yeah,
their
and
coach
that's why
was
Robert
livid.
Saleh was livid too. Like he was annoyed and like there was some holding. I get that. I think it was Valdez
How's Gardner?
Cantlin. Yeah,
Yeah.
Gardner. But like after a while, like I don't even think Mahomes released the ball yet. And then once he kind of let him go, the ball went out. Michael Carter got the interception. So it was a fun game to watch to see Zach Wilson do his thing. It was a bad ending with controversial to Mahomes and the Chiefs always getting all the calls. Dan and Diego probably proven right for a day. Social media was ablaze with conspiracy theories. But it just like if let the Jets go down swinging, don't take the game out of their hands. And you know, I'll say this about Zach Wilson, so impressive yesterday. Like Robert Saleh,
Where's
I'm
that
sorry
been?
for calling you stubborn and saying enough is enough. You should put in Tim Boyle. What was I thinking, Tim Boyle? But the one thing I don't like about Zach Wilson, I might be harsh here. You could correct me, Fernando. But when he got the fumble, he was just soaking on the sideline, kind of putting his head down, like needed to be consoled. I'm like, you're 3 in the league. You're not a rookie. Like you should be the one like, all right, cool. I messed up. Let's move on, kind of thing. Other than that, I love the performance on the field. He has to have his mindset a little better. But
I
the
think the
referee
thing is,
screwed him.
yeah, I think the thing is that he was like, dude, I've done all this good, and now we're gonna get screwed because I did something bad, which I'm sure like he's not happy
After seeing
about.
that
But
late flag, I would be like, all right, it's not my fault. It was the freaking officials.
well, yeah, but I mean, you know how these guys are, like especially him who had been doing bad. But check this out. It won't be a strike, I promise, but it's still funny.
Is that him? Is that Travis? Is that Travis there? Oh my God, he's huge. God, he looks so cute in his uniform. He could beat the shit out of Jake Gyllenhaal. I'd pay to see it. It's so perfect for Albert. The color of the team is red, and my hair is red. Give Travis the ball. It may have been a cruel summer, but it's going to be a happy fall. So you have 4 downs to go 10 yards. Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. God, it's so aggressive. First down. What does that mean? What does that mean? Oh, that was after the play. He hit him. He hurt him. I wonder what she's wearing. You think her hair is up or down? I thought.
People are having fun with it, but
Man, just seeing Taylor Swift with a bunch of celebrities in the suite and then doing like the fist bumps for everybody, I'm like,
and then Brady Mahomes just sitting there, kind of
yeah,
like,
what? Who would have expected this before the season started? But yeah, I feel bad for that.
Oh, that one couple. Did you see that couple that predicted it back in 2020 during a Halloween? Some couple like had a Halloween and like the guy was dressed like Travis Kelce. She was dressed like Taylor Swift.
And they were
and they're like and they were boyfriend and girlfriend. Yeah, they were boyfriend and girlfriend. They're like, in a perfect universe, this would happen.
Wow.
I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, or something like that.
Shout out to that person.
Okay, I'm not gonna say what you think. My thing wasn't gonna be about the refs,
Okay.
actually.
All right.
Yeah. The Chiefs need wide receiver help. Bad. Very, very bad. There's a reason why he's throwing those interceptions and why they made it. The Cowboys just hung how many points on the Jets a couple of weeks ago, and they weren't the Chiefs weren't able to do that. There is no Tyreek Hill leaves. You bring in Juju Smith-Schuster. I know everybody knows him as a TikTok guy. He does this, he does that. He's not even playing for the Patriots, but his skill set worked for the Chiefs. There's no receiver like that right now on the Chiefs. Go look at his interception where he throws it to Travis Kelce. CJ Mosley is right underneath. There's no way you can't see that. So they need a wide receiver. They need to go get somebody who can you're wrong for this one. Claypool to the Chiefs. But they need to go get a wide receiver that's going to help them. If not, it's going to be a long season. And I know, I already saw it on Twitter. People are like, who cares what happens? Either way, the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl because it's going to be a perfect Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce event. And they can say, oh my God, we won the Super Bowl because we got with Taylor, because he got with Taylor Swift when, yeah, he hasn't won 2 other rings before that. But I digress on that point. But the Chiefs need help. Patrick Mahomes needs somebody else because Travis Kelce's 33. He's getting up there. Now, I'm not saying that he's done. He's not done. The dude is that dude's still a machine, but you need some help around him and around Patrick Mahomes, and you're gonna need something for them. If not, if Travis Kelce goes down, you're in a pickle. You're in a bad spot because you saw what happened against the Lions. Their offense just couldn't move the football. Yeah. They couldn't score. They couldn't. There was a lot of bad play by them. So I'm just trying to say, like they and I expect the Chiefs to make some moves, but they need to do something because if not, it's gonna be ugly. And this year, I'm not trying to say anything, but I'm just saying this year could be the first time that Patrick Mahomes goes on the road for a playoff game. And if you don't have other players around you that can step up when the moment is needed, it's going to be a long, long season for them. So yeah, that's just my spiel. I think they need to go get somebody because if not, it's going to be a long season for their offense. Their offense just doesn't look right. And I know everybody was excited last week. They put up 48, but that was the Chicago Bears. Like that's completely. They face the Minnesota Vikings coming up this week. And by the way, Byron Murphy, that guy was talking a lot of trash when he was covering Keenan Allen last week, and Keenan Allen hung 215 on him. And now he's saying right now he just told somebody, but it was on TMZ. I just saw it that he's going to be talking trash to Travis Kelce about Taylor Swift.
Okay,
you're playing a dangerous game there, friendo, because Keenan just hung 215 on you. And you're going to go up against Travis Kelce and talk crap. Do what you do, but just be careful and just know that Stuff always comes back. But that's just my takeaway when it comes to the Chiefs. I think they need another playmaker on there because if not, it's gonna be ugly. But yeah, exactly. Mahomes can't keep running around forever. Someone's gonna truck him one of these, and that's true. And that's the thing too, because what's the right tackle's name again?
Taylor.
Tawan Taylor. That guy, he keeps on doing the same crap. Yesterday, he tackled a guy, and they went to like 3rd and 25. I couldn't believe Mahomes got that 3rd and 25 or 3rd and 22, the one where he ran right up the middle and got the first down late in the game. But the Tawan Taylor keeps on doing the same stuff, and they're gonna like that dude is really bringing down this offense as well. So just in general, they're gonna need. Yeah, I agree with that. Mahomes isn't gonna be able to run around forever, so they're gonna need to bring in more guys in there to help them out. But that's just my 2 cents. When it comes to the Jets, man, their defense is so good. Everything is so good that it just sucks that that Aaron Rodgers isn't on this team because I would really like to see him with this team. But Gilbert, I don't know, man. I think A-Rod might come back sooner rather than later.
Why? Don't do it.
Look.
They're 1-3. It's done.
No, I know, but look at this. This guy's right. Google says most people get out of here. Google says most
actually searching here.
Most people are putting cast or a walking boot for 12 weeks after an Achilles surgery, but Rodgers has had his surgery just 2.5 weeks ago, and he's already walking. I mean, that is. I mean, come on,
that's impressive. I guess really he's been pretty upset about these losses, and it could be because he's trying to come back. So
I heard he gave a really good speech on Saturday night at the team hotel.
That explains why they were playing pretty well because he is pushing to come back. I get that, but I don't know. Maybe wait till next season and Fernando kind of move on to the next game. If the Chiefs are playing, I don't care if the Dolphins lost to the Bills.
Agreed.
They're playing the Chiefs if the Chiefs are playing the Bills or the Dolphins, they don't have the firepower to keep up with those teams. So they might be the third best team in the AFC right now.
I don't think they have the defense to stop
the defense is pretty good, but they might not be the Bills defense, and they completely shut down. But let's get through that game, by the way.
Yeah. And the Chiefs and the Dolphins play pretty soon in Frankfurt. That's going to be an interesting
nice little test there for both sides. But the
agree.
Bills defense was really impressive against the Dolphins. To hold the Dolphins to 20 points after scoring 70 the week before, to hold them under 400 total yards when they had 726 the week before. I'm ready to say the Bills have the most complete team in the NFL. Like defense, offense, even special teams. Tyler Bass is a good kicker. They're doing good things over there. So they might not be the best team. That still feels like the 49ers to me. But when you have Josh Allen playing the way he did the last 3 weeks, and especially, outshining Tua, and that goes to the Sean McDermott. Like he's actually becoming a pretty good defensive play caller. Like he replaced Leslie Frazier. He was aggressive. He didn't do what the Patriots did like a couple of weeks ago. Okay, you want to attack us down the field because we know you're explosive. He said, all right, I'm going to make you guess, Tua. I'm going to hit you a couple of times. I'm going to blitz, send people coming at you. And the other times we're going to pull back for prevent defense. You won't get it. It's going to be mind games. And when you see Tyreek Hill getting, 50-something yards, it worked. A lot of teams play scared with Mike McDaniel's offense, and Sean McDermott brought it to him. He was okay to say, hey, we have a good enough defense to say, hey, if we give up a few here when we lose, no problem. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs will score. And that is the good thing about this team, that they could lean on the defense. They could lean on the offense, even in special teams. So, and I was wrong to say a week ago, Fernando, the Bills should not get into a track meet. They did it. They hung 48 points on a bad Dolphins defense. Let's just say that already. A big fan is a long way to go to get this defense going. But if you get into a shootout, no problem, because your Bills defense is much better than that Dolphins defense. So who's going to end up winning the race at the end of the day in the shootout? The one with the better defense. Or, hey, if you're getting too aggressive defensively, no problem. Josh Allen's going to score, and you'll be back in the game. And that's a pretty scary sight after watching that game.
The only reason, so there are positives and there are negatives. The one negative is they lost Tre'Davious White.
Yeah,
Tre'Davious White was doing a really good job with them. So now I turn to the Bills and I give you the same advice as the Chiefs. Go get a cornerback. I know that they probably trust the guys that they have there, but maybe go go try and get a cornerback that maybe is not as expensive, but try and bring somebody in because Tre'Davious White, that's 2 injuries in a row. I mean, that
Same
really
injury,
sucks.
right?
Exactly. That really sucks. But I agree with that. There's going to be a lot of teams looking at the film to see what Buffalo did to contain the Fins. You know what another incredible part is about this, Gilbert, is and the Bills still aren't completely complete either. They're still missing Von Miller. Von Miller's going to start practicing this week. So, and I know people are going to say, "Oh, Von Miller's old," but he's still got some juice left. So that defense is going to be a lot better than what people think. So I think they're only going to get better when Von Miller comes. I think they have good pass rushers. They have a good defensive line. They have some good linebackers that can cover. That's another thing. They have linebackers that can cover. That really helps exactly what they try and do. So they have some playmakers all over. Man, I'd love to look at their cap situation. How do they have all these playmakers and they keep them down? But
they let go some guys, and they have some guys that came up through the draft. So that's a sign of a good franchise there.
Exactly. Stephon Diggs, 6 catches, 120 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That is very, very impressive. Josh Allen only had 4 incompletions, 21 to 25, 320, 4 touchdowns. He had a perfect quarterback rating yesterday. So I was really impressed with him. Yesterday, Tua was doing exactly what he's been doing, but folks just don't want to pay attention to it. He was throwing weird passes. He wasn't getting them there on time. He could feel the pressure. So, I mean, he had been doing some good stuff, but remember, there's always that one team that shines at the beginning of the season. Everybody gets very excited about, and then it takes one train running over the whole thing for them to kind of go, oh, okay, other teams to go, oh, okay, this is how to beat them. You do this, you do that. So I expect them to I expect the Dolphins to, I'm not going to say regress, but if you have a good quarterback, you should be able to compete against the Dolphins and do some good things against them. But I thought this was more about what the Dolphins lacked, I guess. I mean, they don't have. Yeah. They lack defense and defensive player. Even if Jalen Ramsey comes back, I still don't think that's going to be enough for them.
They better win that division because you don't want to be the 5th seed in the playoffs, man.
That was another thing that I was going at, Gilbert. The Bills are foaming at the mouth to be the 1st seed. They do not, and I know they were it. I think they were the 1st seed last year. No.
I don't remember. Might have been
then they lost to the Bengals.
I think it was the Chiefs still.
Okay.
The Chiefs played the Jaguars, remember?
Oh yeah.
And the Bengals and the Bills might have been the 2-3 matchup. But
yeah. So I mean that's the problem, right?
Because the funny thing, Fernando, like these Bills are, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Because the funny thing is, like, these Bills are supposed to light it up last year, and they remember when they crushed the Rams on opening night, like, oh, they're gonna be great, and then they kind of just got into a funk, and they seem to regain that rhythm. They might be better than last year's team, so who knows?
Yeah, no, and you were right. KC was the number 1 seed. I forgot that Cincinnati was 3, and then they went into Buffalo and they beat Buffalo. But still, regardless, they want that 1st seed. But listen to the Dolphins schedule. I mean, the next few weeks aren't that bad.
Got an Omar fact check, Fernando.
It wasn't. Yeah, I know. I agreed with you.
I know.
Oh, Giants go to the Dolphins. That'll be a bad game. Panthers go to the Dolphins. That'll be even a worse game. Here's where it gets tough. It is Dolphins at Eagles on Sunday Night Football. Patriots at Dolphins, which that could be a toss-up. Then it's Dolphins at Chiefs in Frankfurt. So that little 3-game stretch is going to be tough. But I mean, after that,
play the Eagles still too.
Yeah, that's why I said the Eagles on October 22nd,
and the Cowboys. I think
the Cowboys on December 24th on Christmas Eve.
Tough schedule, yeah.
And then they go to Baltimore on December 31st. Oh my God! Okay, listen to how they end. Jets come into the Dolphins. Cowboys go to the Dolphins, and the Dolphins go to the Ravens, and then they end the season. Wow, that could be for the division. Bills at Dolphins to end the season. That could be could decide the division. But very impressed with what Buffalo did. I mean, hats off to them. The only thing is these two teams seem to play really good at home, and away they kind of play differently. So it'll be interesting to see if the Bills can travel and go into go into Miami and obviously beat them, but definitely
Going to
so
fourth down, Fernando.
real quick. So the Jaguars play the Bills next weekend. Oh yeah, it's the London game at 6:30 a.m.
Back to back, London.
Yeah, and they play the Eagles. They play they play at Bengals, at Eagles, at Chiefs. The Cowboys go there. They play at Chargers, and they ended with that Dolphins. Wow, damn, the Bills have a tough schedule.
They're both tough. AFC East, man.
Yeah,
We'll
but
see
all
who
right,
right now the Bills have the edge.
fourth and Staley. Rams hold off the Colts. This was starting to get a little bit worrisome for the Rams. They ended up winning 29-23, but the Colts gave them a scare. I was very impressed with Kyron Williams, the former Notre Dame Fighting Irishman. 25 carries, 103, 2 touchdowns. I think Gilbert, Sean McVay has found himself his running back, and then Puka Nacua.
Yep.
Puka Nacua. 9 receptions, 163 yards, 1 touchdown. Very impressive. I just don't know. Well, let's talk about the game, and then I'll get to my final point. But go ahead, Gilbert. What did you see from the?
Yeah.
Who were you more impressed with?
The Rams for sure, because they jumped out to a 23-0 lead. These teams were similar because they like to kind of slow it down. The Rams kind of had to slow it down because they had some injuries. They don't have Cooper Kupp, but they've been running the ball well, like you mentioned, with Kyron Williams. And I really like they established the run first. I think Kyron Williams had 17 carries in the first half, and they built that lead. And then Matthew Stafford was picking apart the Colts, man. So the experience factor, with Stafford and Sean McVay over a rookie coach and Steichen and a rookie and Anthony Richardson, that really showed. But then Stafford took a pretty big hit, Fernando. He had a hip injury, so he looked pretty slow out there. He was inaccurate in the second half. That allowed the Colts to make it a game. I'm not saying that was the only reason the Colts got into it, because Anthony Richardson was playing out of his mind in the second half.
Yeah,
great throws, mobility, all that. He's a full package there. Puka is definitely amazing, and I can't wait to see. Speaking about creativity, how Sean McVay uses both of them at the same time. But right now they're kind of banged up and they're shorthanded. So just to kind of have that running game and then pick your spots with Puka was pretty good to see. But Stafford was really banged up, but he couldn't throw. And then for the defense to at least do enough to get it to overtime and withstand it, and then have Puka win the game and save the day. It says a lot for a young team to win that type of way. And even having that game script like that where you lose a lead, you're messing with your mindset. Okay, we got to come back. We're on the road to win. I'm sure that felt good for everybody, but it's not a good look when you lose a 23-0 lead to go into overtime.
Yeah, I think this was more about the fight that the Colts have, and I know the Rams are good, but like you said, they're banged up, and that's not a good sign, especially if it's Matthew Stafford. We all know he's gonna have lingering injuries moving forward. I mean, it's gonna be something that he can't he can't help, but it's just gonna come with the way he's played quarterback, with his age and everything. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I kind of thought they were gonna join that the sweepstakes. By the way, I'm not one to say I don't think teams tank, to be honest. I it's hard for me to believe that players would go in and say, oh yeah, we're gonna go in there and fight. But
especially
then at the end,
early. I think
exactly.
after like Thanksgiving, maybe.
Exactly. So I would be interested to see. I would be interested to see Sean McVay and Caleb Williams. See what that combination would be like with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. That would be kind of, well, I mean, depending on what Cooper Kupp they get, but that would be interesting. But I thought the Colts really showed fight. I think they've been really tough these first 4 weeks. I think they've really taken it to some teams. I'm really impressed with the way Shane Steichen is coaching this team. I mean, they have some playmakers on this team. They just need to get the receivers going. I mean, Michael Pittman, 1 catch for 15 yards. Like, they just get it going a little bit. I mean, but like I said, I was
using
really
the tight ends a little more in this game.
Yeah, that's what they kind of went with. And then supposedly Jonathan Taylor's expected to be back at practice this week, so hopefully they can start using him, because I think that'd be really good if he came back and he's able to do some things for them, because like I said, I think
trade value he plays well too.
Exactly. Well, yeah. But I think he'll come back, he'll play well, and I think they'll want to keep him, especially because the Jaguars they struggled against the Falcons in London as well. So the Jaguars are struggling. The Texans seem like the best team in this division so far.
Hey, AFC
So
South suddenly, huh?
I
Looking
know.
good.
And they're depleted on their offensive line, and they're still doing well. So this division is wide open. I feel like the Colts can take it. But going back to your Rams thing, the Rams have a tough schedule, man. They play the Eagles come to
SoFi
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah, the Eagles come to SoFi, then the Cardinals, then they have 3 home games in a row. How does that happen? The Rams, huh?
I don't know. Good point.
Yeah, they have the Eagles, then the Cardinals, and the Steelers, and then they go to the Cowboys, then they go to the Packers, then the Seahawks come in, then they go to the Cardinals, and the Brannies come in, and they go to Baltimore, then they play the Commanders, then the Saints come marching in, they go to New York, and then they ended in San Francisco. So that's a tough schedule.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like they're good enough to win 8 or 9 games. I don't know if that'll be enough in the wild card, but they're well coached and they have enough playmakers. But yet you're right, the health is really concerning. Like the way Stafford played, like if that hip's gonna linger and he's not the same quarterback, because at one point the broadcaster was like, "Hey, you're hurting your team. You should probably sit down," because that's how bad he was looking out there. But he was lights out in the first half. For now, he was pretty fun to watch.
Yeah.
And then, but this hip thing might linger. I don't know. I don't know when their bye week is. I should check it out though. But that is a tough schedule. And then Cooper Kupp, you don't know about the hammy coming back next week.
Everybody thinks that automatically that he's gonna be like playing. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I think it's gonna be like, man, when you have to go check with that many people if he can play and do all that, like that's an indication that it's gonna be tough. But okay. Week 10 after the Green Bay Packers.
Okay, that's a late bye week, but
yeah, so the 13th.
Yeah, I was wondering what teams prefer, because the Chargers one this week is really early.
Yeah, but they need it. They really need it.
That's a good way to say it. Whenever you really need it, that's when the bye week is good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember last year they really needed it at halfway through the year, and I don't think they got it until like kind of the back end. And but I mean, I don't know. I just think that the Rams. I mean, the Chargers really needed theirs. So the Rams, I'm sure, will probably need it when their bye week comes. But there were some good games over the weekend. I mean, that Rams game was impressive. The Bears and the Broncos really had a slobber knocker of a matchup. There. I know.
Dude, the Bears have the first and the number 2 pick. Like, bye Justin Fields, man.
I'd love to. I saw that the Falcons would want to trade for Justin Fields. That'd be interesting. Because Desmond Ridder.
My only thing with that is that because he's such a good mobile quarterback, Arthur Smith won't be able to contain himself. Okay, keep running the ball, run. They need somebody who could pass it, establish a freaking passing game. But I do like that kind of mix.
Yeah, I completely agree with
Fields
that.
did well as a passer, but he doesn't do it enough. That's the only thing I have.
Yeah, Philly ran into kind of a scare, 34-31 on Washington. The Tampa Bay's 3-1 after beating New Orleans 26-9. I wonder who could have predicted that one. Minnesota barely
in that game.
Huh?
And then I picked the Saints in that game.
Minnesota. They barely beat the Cardinals. Minnesota, man. I wonder what they're gonna do with the whole Kirk Cousins and all that stuff. So just real quick before we do head out of here, any thoughts on JC Jackson's situation?
Yeah, good luck trading him in that contract.
Yeah, good luck trading him with that contract. I mean, it's gonna be tough, but he clearly was frustrated last week when he spoke to the media. I'm sure he wasn't happy. Go ahead.
You okay? Yeah. JC Jackson sounded confused. Doesn't know what's going on. Fernando looks confused. He looks like he's gonna struggle here. But yeah, JC Jackson pretty much said, "Hey, I've done everything I can in practice." Brandon Staley, I don't know what the heck happened. Fernando, you're probably paying attention more to the snaps. I don't know if JC Jackson even did anything, but I did not hear his name called. And maybe that's a good thing for the Chargers. Okay, there you go.
He didn't play yesterday. He suited up, but he didn't play any snaps.
That might be even worse. Like, you're making me waste my time here to be active and still be inactive.
At least Chase Claypool was told to stay home.
Oh man, yeah. Whoever said trade for that guy, I know you're being funny, but he's just been bad for the last couple years. But yeah, are we ready, Fernando? Another good live here.
Yeah, the JC Jackson thing, it just isn't a good not a good look either way. But he said he's still trying to get 100% healthy, but that he's battling. So we'll see what happens. It's a week to week NFL. The NFL is week to week.
Spooky
So
season.
yeah, it's Halloween. So, but we appreciate you guys for checking out another episode of Lunes, or Overreaction Lunes with the Compas. We will be doing it again next week. Obviously, make sure you check out everything else. What's Up Bolts, House of Horns, everything else that we got on there. And then this Wednesday, obviously, we will have a new episode of Compas on the Beat. I know there's people out there that are asking for Dan and Dago. You guys can get him on Wednesday when he's on there. I think he's gonna have a couple of thoughts about certain things, so it'll be definitely interesting. Thanks, guys. Viva Chile. Hey, there you go. Awesome. We do need to make our way down. I've never been to South America. That definitely would be interesting. But we appreciate you guys so much for checking it out. Again, make sure you check out everything else. Like, comment, subscribe. Be a compa. Tell a compa. But for the time being, Gilbert, ¿sabes qué? Vámonos.
Yeah, and real quick, if you want to support the channel here, get this nice hoodie. It's getting cold. It might be cold in Chile. I don't know the weather right now. Shout out to you as well. Check out the link here for Compas hoodie. Help us out. I think I just set up the Google shop. We have
56 degrees in Chile right now.
56?
Yeah.
You looked it up?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There you go. If you can, support the network, get a hoodie, rock the gear. But again, thank you all, first of all, for being here and sticking around for the last hour. Great engagement, good questions. Let's do it again next week. On that note, ya nos vamos. Pues, vámonos. Put up your Chargers, compas. Bye.